Everybody, we are back. It is Taped on Live favorites, podcast favorites, channel favorites, everything. We are back. You guys already know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. Subscribe. Hit the like button if you like it. Dislike button if you don't like it. Leave a comment if you like it. Leave a comment if you don't like it. Also follow us on Twitter at the Mark John NFL for me, at mholder95 for Matt, and of course, use discount code TDL at pandasubs.com for 35% off. Now, Matt, today we do some more kind of scheme breakdowns. We're doing a lot of scheming this week. So we're gonna be doing how they're using Davante Adams. We're gonna get into that. So kind of that deep dive in some Terry McLaurin tape more because I'm convinced that they're not going to run Luke Getz's offense. So I'm just convinced by that. I'm just kidding. I said, you know what? I'm going to watch Scott Turner. Scott Turner had a press conference this year. He didn't have one last year. I think he's got a little more input. And I think they're going to run his short concepts. That's just my guess. So just some deep dive into how they use Adams. And, of course, Adams gave me some leverage for that today with his little comments. Yeah, he's a little upset. But
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man, go Chargers! I guess we're gonna see amazing Devante Adams week 1. But you're doing something with a Christian Wilkins, correct?
Yeah. Diving into Christian Wilkins, just a little bit of kind of what he can bring, like to help like set up teammates and kind of how he just kind of adding some like visuals of what we've been hearing about, where we talk a lot about like, oh, he's going to be able to improve the pass rush and unlock Max Crosby and help set things up, and I just kind of wanted to provide a little bit of a few clips of what that looks like and like how that helped them out last year. Because I mean, if you go back and look too, like the Dolphins had 2 really good edge rushers in Bradley Chubb and Jalen Phillips and forget his name. I think it's Seiler or something like that. 92, their other defensive tackle, had quite a few pressures last year too. So I think there's a few similarities. You can draw some parallels between the Dolphins D-line last year and then Raiders D-line this year. Obviously, Wilkins being a part both is a big factor in that. So just kind of like diving into a little bit what they can do as a unit, and a few things of what I'd like to see Patrick Graham incorporate this past year, and I think he definitely can, because we'll see some similarities. And we are going to look at the game against the Raiders that the Dolphins played last year, because I think Wilkins ended up having 8 pressures himself. I want to say Chubb maybe had 5, and then Jalen Phillips had 2 and 2 sacks and 1 pick that we'll see too. That was kind of the product of a little bit of teamwork too on that end. So yeah, just kind of putting a little bit of a little more context into the, Christian Wilkins is going to unlock the pass rush and help out his teammates too. So showing a few examples of that, just a handful of them.
That's what's up, man. Yeah, so I'm excited about that. And then I'm just doing, like I said, I'm doing some Davante Adams, kind of looking how they're going to use him, because I think he's going to be used differently than he has been before. Kind of more inside, a lot more in the slot, a lot more through wide receiver trip looks. I think we're going to see a lot more of that than the actual things we saw last year. Was him mostly just outside. I mean, he was inside a few times. I'm not sure what the splits was, but I think he will be inside more often, like he was with Green Bay. So definitely get a deep dive into that and kind of show what's going on there. So yeah. Go ahead.
One thing that was a little off topic that I did want to talk about in our little intro here. I mean, obviously, like, it's the time of year we don't have a whole lot of news going on, so sometimes the hot takes start flying. And I saw this post on Twitter that said if Peyton Manning was on the Panthers, they would be 14-3,
13-4,
which would be 13-4. Excuse me.
Yeah,
which would be the best record in the NFL. So
I stand by that. 100%. Adam Thielen leads the league in touchdowns.
I can normally see where you're coming from, and I definitely think the Panthers would be better. But the best team, you think they would go from the worst team in the league to the best, like
regular season? We're not talking Super Bowl. See, this
right? I'm talking 1 seed. They would be the 1 seed in the
and lose
in the NFC,
yeah. And lose
49ers, and they would lose. Okay, so you Peyton Manning. You're the Peyton Manning's the stat champ world. I mean, that's an incredible war. Like, I don't know how exactly that stat's calculated, but that's in my mind, it's a 11 war. And he overcomes the offensive line too. And I mean, you mentioned Adam Thielen as the number 1 receiver, who Adam Thielen's decent, but is old and slow.
Out year, we're like, oh my God, Terrence Marshall. I stick by that. I'm going to stand by that take. I believe it. They're going 13-4, especially in that division they play. Who's stopping him in that division? Desmond Ridder.
The Panthers' offensive line is stopping them.
No, he gets rid of the ball in 2 seconds. Who's the
someone has to get open to get
Adam Thielen, bro? I'm telling you. And the thing is, we're not forgetting with the Panthers going 13-4 is that they would score more points. So Brian Burns, he would also have like 17 sacks because he's getting more opportunities. It equals up 13-4. Panthers, and then they lose terribly to like I don't know what team, like the Lions. They would get like the Lions would come in and just like beat them up, and then Peyton Manning, because they're not supposed to be there. But that's like every Peyton Manning team, to be honest. I think the Colts weren't good to me. I mean, I used to watch them all the time with my dad. Those weren't good football teams. Like the 2006 team had like Maurice Jones-Drew and Fred Taylor running for 300 yards on them. they both had like 175 that game, and they won the Super Bowl. So that's what I'm talking about. Like Peyton Manning, when we talk about Peyton, you just shouldn't compare Patrick Mahomes to him yet, because I think Peyton Manning had like from 2001 to 2008, it's like he just dominated. He couldn't be stopped. It didn't matter who was out there. Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, you could switch them. It was Reggie Wayne later on. It was first Marvin Harrison. You know, Brandon Stokely was like a superstar. Dallas Clark, he didn't do anything anywhere else. And then he went to Denver, and we saw it again. That's just my thing. You know, Eric Decker, 14 touchdowns. Adam Thielen's going for 1,500 yards, bro. I don't know what to tell you. It's happening. He's going for 1,500. They're going to run the ball better.
Losing so much, and they got to throw the ball all the damn time.
And they weren't terrible.
There's no chance they go from the worst team in the league to the best team in the league. And yes, I understand regular season. There's zero chance of that happening just by changing the quarterback. And I think they win like 9 games, but there's zero chance that they go to 13. They win 2 games last year? They win 12 more games. A 12 war, a historic season. Even in Peyton Manning's best, I wish war was readily available, just to see what Peyton Manning's best war ever was, because that's wild. Normally I can get on board with the takes, man, but that one I couldn't let it go. I had to bring it up.
I stand by that take. That's, to me, I think that happens. And the thing is, it's like he's gonna lose in the playoffs. So that's my whole point. My whole point is that like those Colts teams weren't good. He was dragging those teams. He was dragging those teams to 12-4. And as soon as he got hurt, they went 2-14. So it was basically the opposite. So, and because if he plays healthy on that 2011 team, they win 12 games, but they lost. They only won 2 because he got hurt. That was, it all comes together there, in my opinion. I think you're sleeping on Peyton. I think you're sleeping on the impact that Peyton has.
I love Peyton. I think he's one of the most talented quarterbacks of all time.
That dude from NC State is a Pro Bowler at left tackle. If Peyton Manning is there, he's a Pro Bowler. It doesn't matter. He might not even be good.
Peyton Manning take his feet out of cement?
No, the ball's already out, bro. What are you talking about? By the time he gets beat, the ball's out. The ball's out, man. Wow. That's wild. Just pull it up on YouTube. Go pull up his game against the Packers, man. When him and Brett Favre both throw like 5 touchdowns, he is getting hit like every throw. Like his offensive line was never good. That's the thing. If you go watch it, he was getting hit like every single time, but he got rid of the ball so quick that it didn't matter. All Adam Thielen did was had to get open. Adam Thielen gets open really quickly. Boom. Right on him with perfect anticipation before he gets out of his break, before the defense can react. You're sleeping on Peyton. You're sleeping. I'll defend this take forever. Because I believe it. I believe it because he is that much of a difference maker. I think a lot of people just forget how good he was. That's what I think. Was I over exaggerating a little bit? Sure, I was over exaggerating. I was trying to make a joke with it too as well. But they're definitely a Super Bowl contender. Let's not get it twisted. They're definitely in the mix, especially in the NFC and that division that he was playing in. He goes 6-0 in that division. First of all, let's start there. He goes 6-0. All right. So then we got to map in the other 7 wins there, and I think Peyton Manning can figure it out. You got to outscore him too. That's what you got to figure out, man. I'm telling you, I think you're sleeping. It would have been a shocking 13-4, but then you just lose to the Niners or whatever NFC team that was actually good.
I don't know. I think they at least lose to the Bucs once, and I mean the Saints defense was legit.
They play 2-man. He's tearing that up. 2-man. Peyton Manning, come on, man. You're getting tore up. They don't disguise over there in New Orleans. You got to be like, who's that dude? You got to be like Rex Ryan to beat Peyton Manning. You got to be like Mike McDonald. And he's saying he's with the guys who want to stop the run over there in the NFC. They don't do too much switching. Or we have to play the Lions like Cam Sutton and those guys. Come on, man. He's tearing those dudes up. You're sleeping.
Bold take. Bold take.
It's bold. You know, I had the NBA Twitter. It came at me, man. I was arguing with somebody, but some dude was acting like that it couldn't happen because he can't run. And I was thinking, come on, man, bro, you obviously don't know how this works. That's why that bothered me a little bit. Trying to say that he can't run. That makes a difference. Like, bro. It's a different game. A lot of it's because I was watching all these quarterbacks, man, and I don't know what's happening in the NFL right now. We're in trouble. So that's what I'll say. We need some time. We need some Peyton Mannings because I don't know what's happening right now. To be honest, we got a bunch of guys that they're like cool, I guess. I mean, on film, from excitement and stuff, like I can get excited about some of these guys, but from like a film aspect, you're like, oh man, these days are.
You're already becoming the old man. You're just becoming the old man. Back in my day,
it's happened. I'm here. I guess
it's the Jordan LeBron take. Like Jordan would average 100 a game.
These rules, man, they can't press coverage like they did in 04. What are you talking about? Exactly, Matt. You're here. You figured it out. All right, man. Let's get into this film because I'm good.
2 reps on kind of the pick your poison aspect of having 3 really good pass rushers and 4 if you want to throw Butler in there too for the Raiders and what that can look like. I mean, obviously we got Jalen Phillips and then Christian Wilkins here on the same side, and then Bradley Chubb not by himself but as the other notable rusher for the Dolphins that the Raiders are going to have to account for. Now, with this look, obviously it's a play action pass for the Raiders. They got to kind of get creative a little bit with how they want to do it, partially because, again, when you have 3 pass rushers that are really good on the field at one time, you've kind of got to pick your battles a little bit, and someone's going to end up getting one-on-one blocks. So what the Raiders end up doing on this rep is they're going to slide the protection right and run play action behind it while they have Michael Mayer blocking Bradley Chubb. Now, everyone in the world knows that's a mismatch, right? This guy's got 10 sack seasons on his resume, and he's going up against a tight end. So to kind of battle against that, they also have to keep Josh Jacobs and then Austin Hooper in the protection scheme as well, and they can't release on a route. So this ends up being a 4-man rush with Jalen Phillips dropping and a 2-man route concept, where meaning the defense has 7 defenders to take away 2 receivers. And then on top of it too, again, because the Raiders of the offense has to slide the protection to Wilkins and Phillips side to avoid one of those guys getting blocked by the running back or the tight end or getting that one-on-one matchup. Now we get Chubb on the tight end. He beats Josh Jacobs. Again, because it's a 2-man route, ball's got to come out eventually. We also get a nice one-on-one matchup here between 98 Raekwon Davis and Andre James. And you can only pass block for so long. Aiden O'Connell has to throw it away. This, if it wasn't called, should be intentional grounding. And again, like you can see kind of what the effect does here. Like you can see on this rep, again, since Phillips ends up dropping, the Raiders have to double team Wilkins or end up double teaming Wilkins. And we got one-on-one matchups pretty much across the board. Well, Bradley Chubb gets a 3-on-1 and still ends up beating it, but that's because it's 3 guys that, again, should be running routes and aren't getting paid to pass protect. But again, what you got to do when you're facing a defensive line that has a ton of pass rushers up front. This one's a little more obvious. It's going to be a little double team against Christian Wilkins here. Again, like you see Parham and Andre James. As soon as this linebacker drops, Parham's eyes go right inside to Wilkins. So now we got one-on-one matchups with with our two guys on the edge that we can both know can win. Also get a little stunt here. Now Chubb's going to end up beating Illuminor around the edge. And the ball's out pretty quickly, so not much is going to come out of this. And Chubb doesn't get, a huge hit or anything on him, but he's at least able to make contact with Aiden O'Connell, affect the pass, prevent Aiden from being able to step into that and finish the throw. Ball ends up being a little bit behind him. So again, all of this is set up because, one, confusing look for the offense too, but two, because as soon as we know that this guy's, or as soon as this linebacker drops, that the uncovered guard, his responsibility is to go right to Wilkins and make sure that the interior pressure doesn't get up. So then this is going to leave us with a one-on-one matchup with our guy on the outside on the edge. Again, whether that's Malcolm Kuntz, whether that's Max Crosby, we pretty much just picture that there. And he's going to win that, let's say 8 or 9 times out of 10, we'll take that matchup every single time. Get another double team on this one. Leave. Yeah. This time, similar situation as what we saw before. Now, Chubb's not even in the game on this rep, but because we got Phillips and Christian Wilkins on the same side, Raiders, the offensive, basically has to choose which one we're going to double. They pick Wilkins. What I like about Wilkins, too, is you can see this. He recognizes, he's like, hey, look, I got 2 offensive linemen here. This is not my rep to win. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a hold of Greg Van Roten and maybe tug on the jersey a little bit, get away with a little bit of defensive holding, which, hey, make the refs call it. And I'm going to make sure that my guy, Jalen Phillips, my guy out on the edge, can go get this one-on-one block. And that's kind of something that really stood out to me. It's like, hey, he recognized this isn't my rep to win. I'm going to be a good teammate and not be selfish, and then just tie this guy up so that I can make sure that Greg Van Roten or this right guard can't go over and help out on the edge. Again, we'll take these guys win it with one-on-one matchups every single down if we can get it. Ends up being a sack. Wilkins even gets involved a little bit in the play here at the end too. So again, the unselfishness that I think really stands out about Wilkins, and to be able to recognize that, hey, this isn't my rep to win. I'm getting the double team here. Let's make sure someone at least else hits home. Moving on to a little bit of the line games here. This one we're actually going to see, I believe this one is, this one's actually Phillips helping out Wilkins here. And one thing that he's really good at that I can't remember if I pointed this out when the Raiders when we were doing his preview. So Wilkins is really good at selling these stunts. We've talked about this a little bit before, where he works up the field to influence the center to engage with them. At that point too, that's going to help Phillips set up this pick where James doesn't even see it. Phil and Christian Wilkins is able to loop around, go get a quarterback hit. Again, ball's out pretty quickly. Raiders were running a ton of quick game this time, and shout out to Michael Mayer for getting open. But at some point, you're going to have to hold on to that ball, and that's going to turn into a sack. Again, great job by Wilkins selling it up the field. And this is the kind of things you can do when you have guys you have pass rushers that the offensive line is worried about beating one-on-one blocks. Now all of our focus is just staying in front of them and not necessarily picking up or thinking about a stunt.
Mm-hmm.
This is the one I was talking about a little bit earlier. It's going to be another ET stunt. And they ended up servicing each other. Again, same thing. Wilkins attacks up the field. Same thing with Jalen Phillips to help sell it. Now the chip block ends up hurting Thayer Munford a little bit on this rep. But you can see, with Wilkins selling this and with Greg Van Roten's attention on him, Thayer Munford, don't get me wrong, he can do a better job of passing this off. But at the same time, with Greg Van Roten being late to recognize it as well, Munford doesn't really have a ton to be able to pass this off. He's not feeling the guard take over because he didn't have control of the block. And that's going to cause him to be late out to go pick up Wilkins. Now, I will say he could probably pass him off a little bit sooner, but at the end of the day, this is just such a well-executed stunt that there's no pressure. There's no real reason for him to pass, or for Thayer Munford to pass this off early, and just makes it tough. Plus, Wilkins being a good athlete makes a nice tight circle to the quarterback and takes an efficient path. Now, this would be a sack. And I don't know if I've seen many line games or stunts turn into interceptions, but here we have one. And please, Aiden O'Connell, for the love of God, do not do this again and learn from your mistakes.
Yeah, I don't know why this game he felt like he could run, like he could move. Like, bro, throw the ball to Jacobs. Just throw it to him. Like it might hit him. He might catch it. Who cares?
And at the very least, don't throw it when you're still in the like. I just love to know. I mean, obviously,
where was he throwing it? Who was he throwing this to?
I think he was trying to throw it away, but I'm also like, dude, you're right behind the center. So even if you throw, like, the best case scenario, this is incomplete, you get an intentional grounding. Like, the worst case scenario is this. So you might as well just hold on to the damn ball. But yeah. Please, Aiden O'Connell, don't ever do this again. But again, shows you a little bit of what the havoc that gets created by having, a good interior rusher paired with a good edge rusher. And as we've seen, in the last few videos, especially going over the ones with Adam Butler, that was the line games and the stunts are something that Patrick Graham was cooking up quite a bit this past year. So I'd like to see him build on that. This one's going to be a nice little TT stunt, tackle twist. Again, same thing. This one is a really good example of what Christian Wilkins can do. Again, works up the field, attacks the inside shoulder of that guard, and then at that last second, right at about, what is that, maybe the 35-yard line or whatever, goes and attacks the center, ends up getting a nice pick. Like I said, ball was out pretty quickly in this game, but eventually that's going to lead to a sack, or at least a big QB hit. Now, this is what I'd really like to see. This is a beautiful line game. Like, we just saw that TT stunt, right? We saw that what that does to the interior offensive lineman. Well, now they're going to run a 3-man flush stunt, which is where obviously we're going to have 3 defensive linemen involved in the line game. Like, you can see what it does to Parham. Like, Parham actually does a pretty good job. Like, I feel like he kind of like recognized this and probably noticed this on film. He's like, all right, I feel 92, Seiler, I can't remember, I'm butchering his name, but we'll call him 92 from now. It's like, I see him going pretty hard inside and attacking James. So I've got a good idea that Wilkins is going to be looking around. So now I'm ready for the TT stunt, but that's not what it is. It's a 3-man flush, and he doesn't even see Bradley Chubb coming around on the inside. Chubb ends up putting him on his ass. Again, hard to pick up, especially when they run those tackle twists so often, where if you're an offensive lineman, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Again, this is a big part of what they're going to do or what they can do. So I didn't see the Raiders run this too much last year. Maybe they didn't feel like they had the personnel for it because Tyree Wilson was kind of their other interior rusher, and he's a little more stiff. Yeah. But again, there's no reason why this line right here can't be Max Crosby here getting the one-on-one against the right tackle, Christian Wilkins, Adam Butler as the 2 tackles, and then Malcolm Kuntz as the other edge too. Like, there's no reason why the Raiders can't run this next year. Again, especially if you're going to twist those defensive tackles. Like, it's just hard for offensive linemen to pick up. You've got to constantly have your head on a swivel, and then that impacts like the regular straight rushes too, because that's in the back of your mind. So again, little thing and a little nugget that I hope Graham ends up picking up from Vic Fangio last year and what they did with Christian Wilkins, because they got the personnel to run it. And then on top of it too, like, we see Chubb get a pressure. O'Connell can't quite step into that throw. And I know you broke this one down before. It wasn't a great route from Trey Tucker, but I mean, ball does end up behind him, and that's part of the reason why they get the pick, and that's because of the pass rush too. So yeah, that's kind of hopefully like my dream, or what just watching that, like just seeing a little bit of taste of what the pass rush can do. Again, you can get line games. Sometimes just them being in the presence, like I was talking about before, with that pick your poison play, that first play where literally they didn't do anything special. They just put Jalen Phillips and they put Christian Wilkins on the same side. Again, that could be Max Crosby, that can be Malcolm Kuntz on the same side. And you say, hey, which one do you want a one-on-one block? And, I think Wilkins is a dude who, at least on film, shows that he's pretty unselfish and will be willing to eat up double teams and help free guys up. So, again, hopefully that puts a little bit of a picture to it. And I'm excited to see what Patrick Graham can cook up, especially after breaking down that KC game with these line games. He can get creative with it. I think you can even get like a 4-man flush stunt that you can get someone else involved too. But again, like, you could legitimately have it where you got 3 guys running a line game, and then again, one of those great edge rushers ends up getting a one-on-one block, which is going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to bring a lot to this team. I mean, it's going to be crazy, to be honest. I think this defensive line is going to be pretty dominant, and we know that. It's going to be hard to run the ball on these guys. I mean, the linebackers should be free a lot this year. I expect Spillane and them that have a lot of tackles. They got Spillane and them are going to have the ability to be some really good linebackers this year, and have the opportunity to kind of take advantage of those those openings. I mean, you have John Jenkins too, who's a stud against the run, but Kuntz grew as a run defender too last year. He got a whole lot better as a run defender, and then of course there's Max Crosby, who's the best edge run defender in the football. So, and Wilkins is a great run defender too. It's been his whole career. If you go by his PFF grade, he's always like a high run grade. Yeah. It's more about the pass rush. Is he that type of pass rusher? Kind of like what the Giants guy said. Like he hasn't been like a high level pass rusher throughout his career, right? But he plays the run well, so we know they're going to be able to. It's going to be hard to run on the Raiders. It's also going to be hard to pass on the Raiders because of that pass rush. So that's why I'm excited about this defense. They're going to be. It'd be tough to handle, man. It'd be tough to handle. I just hope they're ready for the Justin Herbert QB counter, or he's going to go for 50. I just hope they're ready. They got to be ready week 1 for Justin Herbert to get that football, because he's going to get it, and it's going to be something they're not ready for. Like I said, like a QB counter right up the middle.
Poses problems when you can get a number advantage. So, and like I said, I think we will see Herbert run a little bit more with Roman and Harbaugh out there, which is going to be hilarious to see a $45 million quarterback putting his shoulder down. But
I'm telling you, if they're not ready, man, we're going to be like, wow, look at Herbert go for 45, because he could do that. So, I mean, that's the thing. Yeah. And then we'll be like, oh, should have saw that coming. But, anyways, let's get into some how they're going to use Davante here. So, I kind of started off, I had some 2021 film. I was just lucky. I forgot. I remember that when he joined this team and I watched all his film from that. I have some film from here. So just a couple examples. I just put this route on here, one, just because this route's crazy. That's why I really put it on here. But you see he is in the slot, right? He's kind of a 5 wide receiver look. I know this is Aaron Rodgers, so kind of just ignore that. But you still see here what you're going to get from him, which is him moving around a lot. It's not him going to be at X as much like we saw last year in the offense, running a lot of those digs on dagger. It's going to be a lot more inside stuff like this. So I just love this route because he gets square here, and he gets this guy's two-way go. And it says it's cover 0. This guy's looking at the quarterback because he's expecting the ball out because it's cover 0. And no, that ball's not out. Touchdown. So, yeah. But these are the type of things you're going to do if you can get him lined up on guys that aren't the best corner in football, or who aren't the best corners. Because there's so much zone in the NFL, it's rare that Patrick Surtain or somebody's going to move inside with him. It's super rare. So here's another look against Green Bay here. I mean, Luke Getsy was the passing game coordinator, but I think it's just, Matt LaFleur and all of them. I mean, they have a lot of input. I mean, they're all play callers. So you see here, him kind of just do a quick out inside. You get him inside in the linebacker versus zone coverage here. Boom. Easy 15. And these are the type of completions that you're going to get from him this year, I believe. I think you're going to get more targets. I'm going to say this. Less targets, more efficiency, where he's catching like 70%, like 67% of the balls. And he's getting more yak this way. So we're going to see more efficiency. Now, why I say we're going to watch a lot of Terry McLaurin today, because I think from all the Luke Getsy stuff, I've been talking more mad Luke Getsy, but I feel like Scott Turner's actually going to be able to speak this year. He's going to actually be able to talk this season. He's kept quiet last year. And one of the reasons, like, this is the same exact play, basically. Watch, they're kind of the same exact look, double outs here from the same look that we saw earlier. You can see, McLaurin's inside, does a good job of closing off that safety and making a play. Goes off that corner right there. Corner trying to jump step, but he does a good job of screening that guy off, making that catch. But these are the type of things we're going to see from the Raiders. So this one I really like because this is like a drive concept. I think I showed this a little bit last week, but it's not as wide as it was with Getsy. Getsy had like DJ Moore running a deep dig here. Here, you're going to get kind of the same chip look from Curtis Samuel, and you're going to get a drive, but you're going to get a little bit more of an easier throw for the quarterbacks that we have. Let me say that. A lot of this is, there's Tyler Heineke right here. Is it Taylor or Tyler? It's Taylor, my bad. Taylor Heineke, right? And you see here the drive concept, you get the high-low look here. But what I like is, when I want to come back to here, is when you're condensed here and you're playing, a lot of these teams playing quarters, right? You know, Slay has to play out here. He has to respect this. This is his based on his rules. And you get a free release for McLaurin, and McLaurin's just wide open. You just see the arm talent there from Heineke. He has to come back to the ball still.
I like the eye candy on that too, to like keep that linebacker from dropping from depth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the corner or I guess it'd be the other linebacker.
Yeah. All right, so here's another one. So this time we're just getting simple slant flat stuff here. But I said this could be the West Coast short passing game. I think we're going to see more of this from the Raiders here. Little, that looks like Gardner Minshew throwing the ball right there. If he has to start right there, he can make that throw every single time. You ain't got to worry about if he's going to make that vertical 50 yards down the field. You can just hit the slant right here, right there. Davante Adams. First down. All right, here's another one. See now this is something like I really didn't see for Getsy. This is classic double China 7, right? So you're getting the 7, you get a little in and out routes here. This is West Coast staple here, or just football staple, to be honest. And you see, I'll take it back a little bit. And this is what I'm talking about. We get these two high looks. You know, these guys they play a lot of this man match quarter stuff. You're getting these. You can get him 1-on-1 with the safety. This is McLaurin versus Gardner Johnson, I believe, and that's not Darius Slay, and that's not Bradbury when he was actually playing well. So, so you're seeing here, you get in that 1-on-1, and you kind of get the same thing you saw earlier with the great route runner, because McLaurin's a really good route runner too, and Devante is just, a little step above him. You're getting that wide open look right there for any of these quarterbacks. And this is something any quarterback can make this throw. Because I get on Gardner Minshew, but he's very Taylor Heineke-esque. Let's just say that, right? So he can make these reads. He'll be able to make this throw right here. I mean, and I'm not saying Gardner Minshew's the starter, but I'm just saying like him and Aiden could both make these throws. It's not like the vertical stuff that we're showing earlier. You know what I mean? Basically, what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so here now we're getting into the choice route stuff, right? So you're gonna get a choice route here. Of course, they're playing outside leverage, so you're gonna get a quick slant, but you're also gonna get an in and out route. I'm gonna show this later on how they kind of work off these routes here, and Scott Turner does a good job of that. And I think we're gonna see a lot of this straight up slant right over the middle. He's wide open. Get to your best player. All right, and this I'm saying inside alignments. You're not getting him on Darius Slay. I think this might be somebody else, but they're trying to get him those easy looks here, getting him on safeties and stuff like that. Slot receivers, slot corners. It can work. There's a lot of things you could do that I really like. How I use Terry. So same look here. You got Darius Slay. He's on the outside guy, but you got McLaurin. He's gonna be running this choice route. So let's watch this here. And the guy's kind of giving him the out because he knows he has help, right? So, this is a great route by McLaurin too, as well. But Devante, that's just saying like Devante can't run routes. He could run this route just as well as he can. So see him he thinks that the slant's coming, right? And he still gets beat inside. And you get that nice little pass to him. And this is why I talk about this is going to be kind of the offense we're going to see, because either one of these quarterbacks can run this. Run the slant like that, those choice routes, get that ball to Davante Adams on the money. You're good to go. And another thing we're going to see a lot too, we're going to see a lot more mesh. So if you're not familiar with the mesh concept, basically you're going to get these guys kind of crossing. Basically they're going to try to, it kind of creates a natural rub if they run it correctly, where one of these corners is going to get knocked off. You're going to see it just exactly like this. See the guy tries to play the rub here. Bring it back a little bit. and you get McLaurin. He drops this one, but you still get him open in this type of situation. He drops it, but you get the point here, right?
Yeah.
And then see here's another one, him coming across the middle right here in the slot. And this is kind of the drive concept again, but you're going to get a different look. This time he's going to be running underneath, and you're going to get Samuel over top here on the drive concept. But what I like about this one, he found you get him matched 1-on-1 on a safety, or I think it's a dime safety linebacker type of thing. They're in dime, right? And since they're playing basically kind of like a match cover 3, you see here they got the single high, but they're matching, right? You get him lined up 1-on-1 on this guy. Boom, and that's touchdown. Easy. Walk in. So, it's all about creating matchups, and you're going to get a lot of easy looks for Davante Adams where you don't have to have him pressed outside and do a lot of those things. Easy money. But then you can switch it up, and like sometimes you can just throw him outside here and be like, go catch a fade route. Play action. Go get open there. That's a nice throw. Heineke would be so good, man, if he had an NFL arm. I'd be watching him sometimes. He makes some great reads. He does. He'd be so good if he could throw if he just wasn't, he should go to CFL. He'd be a superstar. I'm dead serious. Great, 6 great cups. All right. So just here's some other choice routes that they run. They kind of mix it up. Because you can mix it up with different players too. You're going to see a lot of these choice routes in and out. These are just West Coast staples here, to be honest. Stuff that we see with John Gruden all the time. Kind of just see Curtis Samuel just get open, sit down right there. They're dropping back here. Kind of looks like they're playing cover 6 there. Get it right to Samuel. Gets first down. And then I really like this one. So you're getting a choice route here, right? You're getting a choice route, but you're also getting the in and out route that we kind of saw earlier. But now it's in a quads, which I just love. I just love quads. It's just fantastic. It just puts teams in so much bind, because then you get this the kind of the go route slot fade out of that too, and then you still get the choice shallow mixed in with also the kind of the juke route here. So these are, he comes from the short route philosophy of West Coast offense, and they're not really more the vertical stuff that Luke Getsy was like they're trying to do. So I think they're going to be able to mix it up. Luke Getsy's the play caller, but the play designer is going to be Scott Turner. And you can see it here, just even how they play this, right? They're playing cover 3. And so, this guy's got to play the flat, and he's playing the inside slant, right? So even though it's a great route by I think that's Samuel, he's able to cross face of this linebacker. He gets this linebacker going this way, he's able to cross face. But you still get this opening right here in between the curl flat player and the hook player here, based on the quads, and you get a wide open guy. Boom, first down, easy completion. And these are the type of things they're going to have to do with these quarterbacks. They're going to have to figure out ways to get these guys easy completions, easy looks. This is an easy read. I guess you could say he could have forced it to slant, but it's a good read by Carson Wentz. Be patient. Let this guy get open here. Catch the ball. Get some yak. First down. So, yeah, that's really what the short passing game is probably going to look like a little bit. And that's how they're going to use Davante. Davante is going to eat. Davante's going to have, I think he's going to have like 100 catches. I don't know how many yards he's going to be with it, but he's definitely going to have a lot of catches this year. He's going to be eating. It's going to be a lot of those 10 for 112 games. We're going to see a lot more than that instead of like what we've been seeing with him and Derek Carr, where it was like 7 for 177. It's not going to be as much as those games. It's going to be more like the 10 for 132s, the 9 for 120, those type of games. So I think he's going to be more of a possession guy. But that's the best way to use him at this point in time, I think, and then mix it in with the slot fades and things like that. And then mix it in with the other guys, in some of those quads and those slots, and Jacoby Myers can run those routes too. That's what they're going to eat. I think they're going to eat a lot inside, and I think Scott Turner's going to have a big input on that, and they're going to be running a lot of the short concepts that he likes to run because Getsy just doesn't have that. I've never seen Getsy run any of those type of concepts. All the film I've watched, it's just not there. So, you could say maybe it's the quarterbacks he had, maybe it was whatever. You can make that case for that. But, even watching the Packers as much, they still had Aaron Rodgers. So there's no limitation for them. So these guys are just a little limited. They're gonna have to do a little bit of more Taylor Heineke stuff, where how he was able to get some pretty good offense out of Taylor Heineke. So I think you're gonna see a lot of that too.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I feel like I've had a few people ask me about the Raiders run more of a West Coast offense, and I definitely feel like that fits with what they have at quarterback. Kind of like what you said. It's just they don't have necessarily a West Coast offensive coordinator. It's going to take some influence, like you said, a lot of the deep passing concepts that Getsy as shown are really nice, but it's can they execute those? So be interesting to see the balance between that too, and what like you said, what influence that Scott Turner has, and hopefully he's not just on the coaching roster to have his picture up there. It seemed like he was last year at times.
I wonder how they sold him on the job last year. Yeah, man, we really want your input.
Here's a paycheck.
Nothing. Yeah. Oh man, I thought it's just so funny because even the stuff that he was doing, that was perfect for Jimmy Garoppolo, man. Getting the ball to Jimmy Garoppolo, just give out his ball, the ball at his hands quick. But no, you got Jimmy Garoppolo running dagger, just trying to stand in the pocket. No, man, you got to get the ball out of his hand. That's what Scott Turner was there for,
Yeah.
So hopefully we see some of those cool routes. So there's a lot of those cool concepts he has to get guys open in space. I think he does a good job of that, and he helps a quarterback out. If you have a limited quarterback, if you have Gardner Minshew. I mean, and Aiden O'Connell's not as limited as Gardner Minshew, and I kind of hate putting it together, but watching that makes you feel a little bit better about if Gardner Minshew did play, because he was able to get they were able to get some offense out of Taylor Heineke. So in my opinion.
Yeah, we shall see, man.
And to be fair, Minshew's better than him. To be fair, we'll be fair to Minshew. He's better than Taylor Heineke.
Damn. I don't think I've heard you say Minshew's better than anybody. That's the first person this offseason. I don't know.
I mean, he's better than him, at least, right? Right.
How many Grey Cups would Gardner Minshew win?
I think Gardner Minshew would win a lot of Grey Cups too. Yeah, I think he wins some Grey Cups. I think he'd win a couple. But yeah. Because I watched Gardner Minshew the other day. I wouldn't watch him. I mean, he would definitely take a lot of sacks still. I think that's going to be the problem with he plays. We're going to be blaming the offensive line every week. How the offensive line's bad. But other than that, they're all right, man. Let's get out of here. Kind of good breakdown from on Christian Wilkins and his impact and how they're going to use Davante Adams. So make sure you guys check this out. And like I said, check out the other videos that we're posting. These things aren't dying out during the offseason. They ain't going to die out. So keep checking those out. And then, of course, copy a T-shirt. I got to put the brands up here if I can get to it here. Get your T-shirt, Tape Don't Lie merch. If you got a T-shirt, man, take a picture of it. I know that some of those orders already been out there. They had to be to you guys. So make sure you take a picture. And then you got Friday Night Live here. You use that one if you want to get a Friday Night Live shirt. But we got you hooked up with all the information, guys. We'll be back with Friday Night Live on Friday, and of course we'll do some more episodes with the film next week. So right here, all right, guys.